Guys, it's that time of year again. For a limited time, you can get any pair of jeans, chinos, or pants from Barbell Apparel for just $99 each. Have you ever struggled with jeans that hug your quads just a little bit too snug? Well, I've been there, and that's why I'm stoked to tell you about Barbell Apparel. I've been rocking their gear for a while now, and the comfort and fit is unmatched, especially for those of us that don't skip leg day. Barbell Apparel is stylish and functional, built to power whatever your workouts, your work days, and your adventures demand. But let me give you a quick heads up. Barbell has sold out 8 years straight, so don't miss out on these deals. With a lifetime guarantee and a size exchange guarantee, wear it, use it, live in it. If you have any issues at all, Barbell will repair it or replace it for you. So go to barbellapparel.com, grab yourself some new pants, level up your wardrobe game, or just click on the link below. Turki Alalshikh, His Highness, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, put out one of the best fight promos I have ever seen, and I do not say that with an exaggeration. Usyk and Fury getting ready to fight. All right. Now, this was an important one for me because I was going to get to go to it. I was going to get to go to this fight. And, I don't get to go to big boxing fights. I've been to 2 in my life. Manny Pacquiao, Juan Marquez Jr. Part 4. The one where Marquez was steroided and not only knocked Pacquiao out, he knocked him out of the ring. I ever tell you guys that story? How I got tickets to that? Sitting at a Benihana's, where they put people together. And the people that we were sitting with were talking about Jon Jones was going to beat up Chael Sonnen. And I overheard this and I said, hey, by the way. And they were Pacquiao's guys, and they felt bad that they gave me and my buddy Daryl tickets. At any rate, and then I got to see Nate Diaz and Jake Paul. So in my whole life, I'm a big fight fan. It's the only boxing matches I've got to see. So I was going to get to see Usyk and Fury. They move it. Fury gets who was the guy that didn't want to fight Islam? Gets the Charles Oliveira, right? Gets the paper cut, pulls out. And so the Sheik rescheduled it. Now, he's the promoter. He's the one putting this whole thing on. You can't play a game of hot potato with a fight date. Right? It's one of those things. Think about me. I mean, just to personalize it, not that any of you are going to cry in your beer for me, but think about me. I would have flown 22 hours to a fight that I wouldn't get to see. That would be a really tremendously big deal. So it's already been rescheduled. Usyk versus Fury, just to remind you of the timeline, was the fight that they used Fury versus Francis to market. Fury versus Francis was a loss from jump. That was all pretend. That was only real in Francis's mind. That was all pretend for everybody. That was just a commercial for Usyk versus Fury. Now, I'm giving you guys a time frame, okay? Francis puts a beating on Fury so bad that he doesn't show up for the Usyk fight. And he got somebody else to step in front of it. He got somebody else to say, hey, we can't do that. We're going to move it around. But either way, I'm trying to remind you guys, and I want to say that was scheduled for December, right around the holiday, maybe even like December 24th. I'm close on dates. So that ends up getting moved, and Fury gets the cut. Now, I should not tease Fury, say things like paper cut. I shouldn't do that. I just have a personal thing where I don't have any idea how today you're not going to feel good in 3 weeks. I just don't know how it works. I've never had an understanding of that. I did not grow up with guys that did that. I did not grow up in a world like that. And Fury's a very legitimate, tough guy. But I don't get it. I don't get how you could have a cut today and be, wow, it's not going to be healed in 3 weeks. What? Have you got any idea the medicine's right in Chael Sonnen's cupboard? Left over from the good old, I'll heal that cut in 15 minutes. You call Jamie Huey, that cut will be healed instantly. I mean, I'm just sharing with you. I don't get these things. So the Sheik's got to put this back together. It's his name on it, right? He did such a good job. He comes out and oh my God, he did such a good job. You guys haven't seen this. You should go search it. He's wearing sunglasses for one. He looks cool, but he brings the whole audience back around. Not only does he bring the audience back around and get full forgiveness, no problem. Whatever plane tickets I got, whatever hotels at the Four Seasons, I'll reschedule. We're all good here, right? He sweetens the pot. He says he's putting a $10 million if one guy pulls out. Now, I know I just said that clumsy, but I showed it to my wife. It was so good. I showed my wife, and she loved it too, but she had misunderstood it. She thought it was a fine. I just want to explain this to you guys. It's not a $10 million fine. So they've rescheduled the fight, right? I know I'm jumping around, but they've rescheduled the fight. So the Sheik comes out to explain this, and he says, if one party doesn't show up, the party that does gets $10 million. That's how he did this, as opposed to a fine. See, everybody out through history would have fined them, and it wouldn't have been 10 million. It would have been something realistic. It would have been 10%. It would have been 100 grand. It would have been something meaningful. I mean, even the NBA won't fine you $10 million. No commission in the world has ever fined somebody, right? But it's always a fine. He incentivized. See, that's what made it so interesting. He changed it from what most people do. So, and I've always wanted this. I've always wanted a forfeiture clause in our sport. From a business standpoint, what I just said does not work. But I came from a wrestling background, and wrestling was a show, even if it's in a gymnasium, even if it's in your high school gymnasium or your college gymnasium. It's a show. It's got tickets. It's got a box office. It's got popcorn. It's got seats for sale. It's got merchandise in the corner. It's got a scheduled event under a rule set where there will be a winner and there will be a loser. If one guy doesn't show up, the guy that does wins. And he doesn't just win quietly. He will be in the lineup. He will suit up, as we call it. Pull the straps up, put the headgear on. He will go onto the mat in front of everybody. He will have his name read. He will have his arm raised. He will have that moment. His record will increase by 1. The team score and standing will be reflected. Now, I get that you guys are not going to order a pay-per-view or show up to an arena to watch a guy walk out, get his hand raised, do an interview, and leave. I do understand where there's but I like it. I got no problem with it. And why? Why? Because the pugilism in the lefts and the rights aren't enough, and they never have been. They never have been. The Sheik didn't make it about that. He never read resumes. He never said, this guy with 25 knockouts. He never said, this guy with a record of 30 wins and 2 losses and 6 world championships. He never did that. He said, one of you two guys is scared. We all understand that. From the playground to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, which is right now the leader in this field, we all understand scared. I mean, I'm halfway implying it over here right now, aren't I? I didn't come right out and say it because I have a respect for Tyson Fury. You got to cut. You can't force a guy in there if he's got to cut. I understand these things, but I implied it. I do not believe that in a million years of Sundays, I'd have never pulled out against Islam for the scratch that Charles Oliveira had. In a million years, I'd have never pulled out against Usyk if I had 2 of these little things that Tyson Fury has. I'm personalizing it. I'm personalizing it. So somebody was scared. It might have been Tyson's old man. I don't know. My old man would not have pulled me out. I will tell you that much, but his old man might have. And so he said, one of you guys is scared. And he didn't say, by the way, he didn't say if you don't show up for the fight. He used a word, and this had to do with a little bit of broken English, and it made it so much better. He said escape. He said, if one of you escape the fight and show you're scared, the other side will get 10 minutes. He did such a good job as a promoter. This fight got much bigger. And by the way, whether it happens or doesn't happen, I hope that they have a card. I hope that they have a supporting cast, a co-main event. I hope that the lights go on, the arena fills, and I hope that there's a show. Even if one of them walks out to his music with his corner after he weighed in the day before with his hands wrapped and gets a $10 million on one of them great big goofy checks. I loved it. I thought it was one of the great promotions of the year, and I think that Usyk versus Fury just got that much sweeter.